And for those of you that don't want to overwhelm your sphere with more technology and more things that disrupt your balance, that is an invitation to explore that fear further. It's likely stems from a very common basis we'll have, is that we're not enough. And so if I'm not enough, and here's this huge technology that knows it all, that amplifies your fear, and that might be you create different excuses. Oh, I need to minimize the tech or usage of apps or the computer time. All of that is an invitation to further develop yourself, because I can assure you, we receive clues, and whether you are in technology, on the computer, walking, sitting, meditating, all of that information is through the field.
Welcome to How I AI, the podcast featuring real people, real stories, and real AI in action. Hi, I'm Brooke Raymer, your host and guide on this journey of the real-world impact of artificial intelligence. For over 15 years, I've worked in creative marketing, events, and business strategy, wearing all the hats. I know the struggle of trying to scale and manage all things without burning out. But here's the game changer, AI. This isn't just a podcast. How I AI is a community, a space where curious minds like you come together, share ideas, and I'll also bring you exclusive discounts and insider resources, because AI isn't just a trend, it's a shift. And the sooner we embrace it, the more freedom, creativity, and opportunities will unlock. Have you just started exploring AI and feel a bit overwhelmed? Don't worry, I've got you. Jump on a quick start audit call with me so you can walk away with a clear and personalized plan to move forward with more confidence and ease. Join my community of AI adopters like yourself. Plus, grab my free resources, including the AI Get Started guide, or try my How I AI Companion GPT. It pulls insights from my guest interviews along with global reports so you can stay ahead of the curve. Follow the link in the description below to get started. Have you ever met someone who blends corporate precision with spiritual clarity? This week's guest, Natasha, did exactly that. After years of managing in tech at Microsoft, she traded boardrooms for breakthroughs, becoming a clarity coach, author, and a YouTuber, helping leaders get out of their own way and into their purpose. In today's conversation, we explore how she uses AI not as a cold machine, but as a creative collaborator, one that helps her write, film, and connect more deeply to her audience. She even credits AI with helping her overcome the fear of being on camera and scale her video-first coaching business. If you've ever wondered how technology and transformation can actually coexist, this episode will shift your perspective. All right, let's dive in. Welcome to another episode of How I AI. Today I have a very special guest. Her name is Natasha Clower. She is a clarity coach and mentor for men and a best-selling author. I am so happy to have you here today, Natasha. Thank you for being here. If there's anything you want to share, and welcome our guests and expand on your background, I'd love to dig in some more.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's quite an honor, and it's such a fun topic. I will share a little bit about my background. I came from corporate technology world, and so I worked for many years at Microsoft. And so I would say I never been a bleeding edge adopter of the technology, but I was always looking for the cutting edge and testing it out. And so over the journey of my life, then I came into coaching. Not necessarily that I came into coaching. I basically gathered the guts to step into what I truly want to do. And this is how the connection of two worlds combined, the practical, the mystical, the spiritual, the transformational.
Beautiful. I'm excited to chat with you about coaching and how it relates to AI and the mindset around it. I have a bit of experience coaching myself, and I think this is going to be a very unique conversation. I want to kick it away with when did AI first enter your world? Not as just a tool, but something that really aligns with the work that you do. You can share how this door really opened into your world.
I cannot recall a specific, moment of when it came about. I think for me personally, it was a very gradual exploration because I was seeking shortcuts, ease. That's kind of my mantra in life. How can I achieve X the easiest way? And I will test the path. And if it's not easy enough, I will switch. So to me, AI kind of fits into that definition of exploring methods that make my life easier. And the very first precursor before ChatGPT and so forth, I was still at Microsoft, and they had, I believe now they call it Copilot, but within the PowerPoint, there was a designer, and it suggested to you different layouts of slides. I loved it. I loved it as a collaboration tool, and I think that kind of gave me the opening into this world where we're at now, where there is so many, I would say, digital assistants help you with the collaboration.
I think that was the first insight to a lot of individuals using AI on the practical space for work every day was Copilot. They did such a great job. In addition to Copilot, are there any other tools that you use consistently? What does your current tech stack look like?
Wow, that one is a hard question because I do experiment with a lot of tools out of sheer curiosity, what they do, what they can do, how far they came along, and so forth. So currently, I would say I use a version of AI intelligence either embedded inside the tools or I directly go to those tools. So on a regular daily basis, I use Claude. If we're going through the full stack, I will narrate my ideas, my thoughts, and so forth into the phone. And then I use transcribe function, dictate transcribe function in a Word that it will transcribe it. And then I can plop it into Claude to format it. And to make sure that it's kind of tightened up or broken down in different elements. So I use Claude quite a bit. And lately, the way I started using it, it's not necessarily as an editor. That's kind of the role I assume the AI will function for me is editor, ask questions as of what am I missing, or if the person hears this or listens to it, what are the main aha moments? And then that gives me a chance to double check whether I think the message I want to convey is coming across or not, and then I go on my own and rewrite it. So that's kind of main buddy. Claude is he, and so I work with him as an assistant, and I treat that particular tool as a person. I my prompts are like really long, how I speak, and I discuss, collaborate, and so forth. So that was a journey because in the beginning I started with ChatGPT and didn't particularly like it. I didn't like the style. It took way too many prompts to get to the output I wanted, and so I ended up spending more time communicating with that tool rather than getting the output. And so I switched to Claude for that. I use Gemini if I need to do research. So, for example, if I have written or, had an idea for a topic I want to convey and I want to research, are there any scientifically backed research, as the last 50 years, I will go to Gemini to do the research. I feel that tool is much more robust. And in the past, it will come up with all sorts of wonderful sounding true, but not really facts. So I learned my lesson of asking for actual link where it got that information from. And then with that fact checking function, I think it works really, really well. So those are just general, I think, what people, I assume, think of AI interactions that fill my day. And even on a regular basis, I don't think I go into a browser to, Google search or Bing search or whatever. I go to the AI, to whatever, either Gemini or Copilot, to get my answers. So it's a browser for me, more smart browser. Next one on my daily list, actually there's two of them. It's Filmora, the video editing software, and Canva. So within those, probably a lot of users know that there is the Magic in Canva, there is Magic Creator or something like this. I mean, it's so beautifully integrated in there that you don't even think that it is actually based on AI, and it creates those little nifty drawings. I really like visual representation of the ideas, and so I do occasionally will go into, I think it calls Magic. I don't remember, Magic Studio or something like this. And I put the prompt that it needs to be in the pencil drawing or something like this. So it's just a stick figure to annotate the concept. I find it beautiful. Like, this is the one tool I feel is helpful if I need to convey something.
Wow. I haven't used
Mm-hmm.
Canva Magic in that way with the transcripting and calligraphy. So that sounds like a cool use case. I'm going to try that soon.
Yeah. So, and I discovered it by mistake, meaning I was searching for elements and graphics to add, and it was like suggested, and you can click show more, and boom, it opens up with so many. And then it gave me an idea of how to prompt it, because a lot of it, I feel it's not that AI is teaching us something. We are learning how to communicate, how to prompt, and do the prompt engineering. And that is the journey in itself, to make true garbage in, garbage out. If you're not conversing well and not being clear of what you want the outcome, there's no magic wand out there. AI cannot come up with, if you're not clear, AI not going to be clear. And the output would be really mudded. And so you're not going to like the output. So Canva is a little bit more of shortcuts in finding graphics that I need. So in Filmora specifically, that what I use for editing my videos is doing dynamic captions, then bringing, if I film on two angles, two camera, like my phone and the camera, or computer screen and my phone, for example, you can load those inputs simultaneously, and it brings two videos. It synchronizes it, so you can go A roll versus B roll very quickly. Converting your video into the shorts, I use it strictly for inspiration, because I don't like the output, how it comes up. The camera keeps moving like this. It irritates the heck out of me, and I think would irritate the viewer as well. But it gives me an idea, first of all, title of what the posts or titles might be suitable. And then second, it's always fascinating to me what AI will come up as the highlight of whatever your video is. And so I look at that as inspiration to say, that is a nice point and kind of standalone item. And then I'll go and just cut that out of my video. That's kind of heavy usage. The next two is off and on, but probably increasing in usage. One is vidIQ. It's a tool optimization for YouTube videos. The way I use it, the suggesting of tags, hashtags, keywords, and so forth, I find it's good exploration. It's still not the best. Like, if you're in the browser with vidIQ, where you're posting on your YouTube and suggestion, I feel that feature works really bad, what it suggests. However, if you go to the app itself and bring it in vidIQ app, then the keywords, hashtags work beautifully. Description works well. The title, exploration of how to title it is beautifully designed, and I think it works wonders. I do use the AI feature there. I think it calls the function calls thumbnail in their app directly. So once I cut a rough version of my video in Filmora, I upload that file to vidIQ and into thumbnail for it based on the video to suggest what would be thumbnail. And then I use that as a concise title and go to Canva to create a thumbnail. So those, I think, are my current stack. And there is several other softwares that I have tried that I can mention for people who are just starting out. And for example, those that are scared of creating videos and just petrified of that function to begin with. There is lots of helpful tools for that, or building websites. And just general photos and stuff like that. So we can go in that direction, and I'm happy to share.
How I AI is brought to you in partnership with the Collective AI, a space designed to accelerate your learning and AI adoption. I joined the Collective and it's completely catapulted my learning, expanded my network, and showed me what's possible with AI. Whether you're just starting out, seeking community, or want done-for-you solutions, the Collective gives you the resources to grow your business with AI. You touched on a couple things. I haven't gotten into Filmora yet. I know that you have a lot of experience with YouTube. That seems to be one of your main channels. I haven't had an opportunity to speak with anyone specifically about how they're using AI with YouTube. So thank you so much for sharing. I myself have been working towards launching a YouTube. I have all the video content from my former podcasts that I need to get up and rolling, but it seems like a whole new beast to take on. I love that you shared vidIQ. I'm going to look into that. I also just agree with you speaking to AI with voice. I prefer to do that as well. I also ask for citations when I speak to LLMs. It helps prevent hallucination and looking into the citations, because sometimes the citations will be LinkedIn or Reddit, which essentially are just opinion pieces. So to always check on your citations. I know we're in a day and age where it's very important to be on the camera, developing your brand, being the face of your company. People resonate a lot more with what it is that you're servicing or selling. The more that you have long form content, especially video content, I think it is a great direction to dig into what else you use for video capacity in AI. But before you do that, I'm curious. Since you started integrating these AI tools with YouTube that you just shared, have you been able to see your channel grow at a more exponential rate since implementing these systems and tools?
Exponential is a tricky word. Again, there is no magic wand. Like, right? It's all about you connecting with the audience, you knowing your message, being true. Really, it's being true to your message and what you stand for. I would highly recommend something like vidIQ. I found that tool very easy, and I saw not necessarily skyrocketing my views or anything like this, but versus no views or not knowing what did you do wrong. To with vidIQ, there is a scoring, overall, there is some aim as you're putting things together, like, oh, did you put the end cards or something like that? And then there is end screen and so forth. But then it kind of gives you that checklist to not forget things as you're putting it together. And I would say even YouTube by itself, with nothing else, it has the inspiration tab that shows you the titles, the positioning, ideas for the script to record. It was super easy. You go there, it gives you trending titles, trending topics, people are interested in it. It can give you what the outline would be for your script for speaking, like you need to touch on this, you need to touch on this, you're going to close with this. And then it gives you ideas for thumbnails and gives you ideas for alternative titles. So I would highly recommend something, especially in the beginning, because you don't know what you don't know. You need some sort of guiding mechanism of, oh, I forgot to do this, or I forgot to do this, and including that.
I agree. Having it as your little assistant and nudging you and creating, even if you have already a custom GPT about a YouTube upload checklist. I'm thinking of creating some systems and flows. I was very inspired from my previous guest, Aziza, to start to create more systems and flows, A to Z, whether that be promotions, marketing campaigns, or publishing a podcast and all the things that go into that. I think it really helps to sit down and also have a companion, whether that's virtual or a GPT, tell you a little to-do list. Speaking of the helpfulness of AI, what's maybe another benefit of AI that you feel like has been for your business that people might not realize, especially when it comes to coaches and service providers? I can imagine it's helped you free up your time for creative rain and to stay into your zone of genius. What are some benefits that you feel have positively impacted you when it comes to AI?
I would say not being afraid to be on the camera and actually going onto the social was all due to AI and tools that are fully AI. So some of those that I can say that I no longer use because the fear is no longer there. But in the very beginning, as we've talked, people have some reservations of recording themselves. It seems like a big production. And so in the very beginning, I used Lumen. Lumen is the faceless, it creates faceless as of it's different movies. It combines based on your text. It's so easy to use. So easy to use. And it creates actually quite beautiful videos in a matter of few minutes, like 20 minutes. You can upload your audio, you can upload your text. And based on that, it will break it down to different frames. In each frame, it will find the movie that corresponds to that meaning of what it is you're talking. Then it will create, there is maybe 15 different layouts of how either it's going to be a slide with just annotating your text as a main point in there, or it's going to be a movie playing and stuff like this. And it will lay over a music that aligns with your message, like, background music. And boom, you just export it, it's done. Like, it's so easy.
Wow. That sounds incredible. I have been really needing to up my video editing game and to get more into that space. I have been just using Descript to create clips, but I'm so inspired by everything that you've played around with already when it comes to AI. And that's exactly what I have been looking for, is to track the camera of whatever is happening in the picture, to overplay messaging and scenes that are parallel to what's happening to the speakers. You see the rise of these reels and recaps and videos. Some of them, I agree, are very overwhelming. The screen jumps around and flashes too much. But I guess that just has to say where our attention span is going nowadays, and to keep people engaged and watch your video for longer than 6 seconds, you have to really be doing that now. So thank you for sharing about that. You spoke a little bit about your initial fear or resistance. Do you feel like moving through that is just kind of taking the leap and starting?
Yeah, I think it's a split-second decision that you make with yourself. You make an agreement, I'm gonna do it. And then from that moment on, you accept yourself with all the mistakes that you're gonna make, and you're gonna look at it as an experimental journey. And that's how I approached it. I could relate with people on the phone, face to face. But going on the social, it was something just super scary as far as what if I don't say it right? What if, what will happen? And then what I realized, the beast was bigger in my mind than in the reality. It takes so much effort and so much knowledge to actually put your message in front of enough people to make a momentum. So going live even now and posting whatever that is, open the page wherever you want, Facebook, Instagram, or even YouTube, and just upload it. No one's gonna see it anyway. You're gonna get like 2 views maybe. So like there is nothing scary out there because it's for your experimentation. But I didn't know. I feel that fear was common. It's like, oh my God, what if it goes viral? What I'm not prepared. I was the same way. I don't have systems in place. If I go viral, now I look at it like, what a silly thought. So at the end, I would say make a decision to do it and then be in congruency with yourself of what is easy for you. For example, you don't have time or money, and you need to put something together very quickly. There is Astra, I think, is a theme that puts AI. There's several website building AI tools where you say little blurb, this is what I do, da, da, da. It spits out the full website. It's enough. Like it's enough to get started. You don't have any professional pictures. I used AI tool. It took my normal home pictures. The problem was that I smile in all my home pictures, but the AI tool needs very serious face. And once you find those pictures and upload there, it spit out for me enough like 15 to 30 portraits that I use now everywhere on the website and my email. I mean, it gave more like 50, but some of it was like weird. I had a hand, two hands, 7 fingers. Like some of them were creepy, like right off creepy. Others were like, wow, that's how I might look if I gain another 40 pounds and I would be 10 years older. So it was a fantastic journey from that perspective. Or like, well, this is really beautiful. It doesn't look like me. It looks like my sister. Like, I don't have a sister, but if I had a sister, that's how it would look. But out of that, you will be able to find at least 10 images that you can use that look kind of exactly like you. It has your impression, it has your vibe. Again, you don't need even to change out of your pajamas, right? To put this all together. And then with Lumen, you are there to convey your message. That's what I think people miss. You're not there to please someone. You're not there to provide entertainment. Disney and Pixar and Paramount up for that. Your purpose is convey your message. You are so driven. If you started in a coaching business, it's because you have the yearning to say something, to say your way, to help people. Just stick to that, like focus on that and start, I would say, start with Lumen. You have your story, you have your teaching, you have your style, you have your revelation. Record that, upload to Lumen, see what it comes up with. And on the first slide, just plop your picture there as an opening slide, then you're good to go. Upload it to YouTube or whatever social you want and see what happens. I mean, for me, not much happened. Not much happened until I learned all of those sort of techniques. What drives traffic. How other thing for if people are creatively blocked. I mean, first of all, we know that it's mental. No one, no one is really blocked, right? We possess an enormous amount of thoughts that are going like, I believe it's 60,000 thoughts that go through our mind a day. So to say that we're blocked is misnomer. But you need something that will spark that memory that you the thought or this idea resonates. And I use Hype Fury. It's a tool that was designed specifically for Twitter, now X platform. However, they expanded it now that You can write it, it's still geared a lot for Twitter. You can write the posts, those concise posts, but you can then make them post on your other social channels. And by itself, it saves time because you can populate lots of it. Like I sat down and I wrote 60 in one time and uploaded it all and just populated. And so off I go for 60 days. I have a post a day. It's a blurb, but it's something than nothing.
You pretty much gave us all the tools to start our own video content business. I'm going to look into Astra, the website builder. What was the portrait builder you created? Because I've seen some of these auto-generated portraits and they eerily look like someone's fraternal twin, like them, but not really like them. Do you find that yours look like you? And what was that tool again?
There is lots of tools out there that do the photos. I think I saw it on the LinkedIn or it was advertised on Instagram. And we can link to it after we record. This particular one has different settings with a white background, or you are in the outdoors. I found that outdoors do look photoshopped, so it didn't seem to be as natural. But there was a portrait mode, just black background. Those seem to be very good. The quality, from what I understood in my experience working with AI, is the volume of input. It will give you a range of number of pictures to import. And I did the max that they recommended. And I feel that's what increases the quality and what type of pictures. So you need to be facing the camera and your facial expression shouldn't be grinning or anything like this, but like just no smile. And once you find that and feed it to the system, then it produces, I believe it was like 30 pictures. So you pick this particular black background, for example, it gives you 30 pictures. Out of 30, I would say 5 are on point. So some of them, majority of them wouldn't be quite there, but 5 are really, really solid. And and then I used a different background, again, generated 30, extracted 5. It was worth it. I think it was like $10 or something. It gives flexibility because putting the same picture, you get tired of it. But it gives some flexibility. I would encourage people to just experiment because some of it was with the hairdo, and I'm like, oh, I don't do it this way, but it looks good.
Give you some creative
And
inspiration.
yeah, put the jewelry on and like necklace. I'm like, well, that looks good.
I'm going to try that out. I actually spent last weekend getting new headshots done because, to your point, they get kind of old. You use them so much, and every quarter is what they say for a brand is to refresh your content and your imagery. So that is just a cost-saving tool if I ever heard of one. Speaking of pricing, how much do you spend on your technology tools a month if you had to guess an aggregate amount? I think that is a very interesting question when people share what their tech stack is.
I try to subscribe for annual because that's usually
Yes.
gives you the biggest savings. So that's kind of how it's hard to guesstimate. I would say probably on annual spend, I am close to 4,000 a year, maybe somewhere there. Again, it's some of it, things that we talk about is the tech stack. It's not necessarily AI, like it's communication bots. They're not AI driven, they're just bots. And just email and hosting of the website, that sort of thing that adds up to the cost. I would recommend Canva, Premium, whatever that runs. I would recommend some sort of editing software for your videos. Some of it do run for free, but I usually go to the middle section. The other one, especially if you plan to do e-courses or something where you need to make sure the viewer is engaged. I'm just on the experimenting with it for the website specifically. It calls Vid Analytics, I think. And this one is more to, instead of using YouTube as a player for your website or for e-courses, it allows you an interactive path with the users to say, well, are you a mom? Are you a dad? And then when they click, they interact with your video, they click, and then off it goes to that dedicated line. Of course, you recorded that video, so it would be like, are you a mom? Click here. She selects, I'm a mom, and you would say, well, hi, sister, let's continue conversation, versus like, are you a dad? And boom, it's a different video. So that allows that. And the biggest one feature that I find is that if people navigate away, it pauses. And then if they pause, how people just watch a little bit and then they pause, it allows you to pop a thumbnail, kind of an image to say, wait, here's one thing, or subscribe here, or here's the form. But for e-course creators, that is essential because they can produce video even for your podcasts, right? It's a great material. You created the hook, engaging the viewer, and to say, well, in order to view the entire video, please subscribe. Here's the form right there on the video. So it creates that interactivity. And that one is pricey. I think the pro version that does the thumbnails is $80 a month. And then the one that allows you for different paths, it's like $180 a month. Lumen is very expensive as well. It's like $250 or $280 a month. But to me, it was worth every penny. I disconnected it after maybe 6 months because once you get going and once you're confident in your skills and what the videos and how YouTube works, how social media works, and then you can record your own stuff, then Lumen became, to me, limited. That's why I disconnected. But to start off, that's where the money is. So at the very beginning, I feel I overspent. I was running probably 1,000, maybe $100 a month because I was experimenting with different softwares. I was buying this license and so forth. Now that my process and my system is settling down, I feel I'm running maybe less than 400 a month, somewhere there.
Thank you so much for sharing a little bit more into that. I think it's such a little inundated insight because we can be very overwhelmed with all the tools. And that's so fascinating about the course creation, because I know that's a big pain point of course creators is getting the client to complete them. What you said reminds me a lot of Netflix choose your own journey movies or episodes. That is something I had an idea for courses a while ago. How great that would be to be able to bring the customer into a very individual choose your path journey, because we're not all the same. We learn differently. We have different end goals and use cases, whatever it is that you're teaching or applying. So I think that's incredible, and just one of the amplifications of AI and how it can help you reach your client in a more individual way, which leads me to my next question of those who are new to tech, specifically spiritually minded. I know that's a lot of your community as well. What do you feel like is a way to explore, start using AI without losing their core brand, their essence, and like their soul to the process? Because I think that's a really important thing to have in mind when you're using AI is how can I still have me at the forefront and my values and my soul and like what it is I really am that makes me human when I use AI? How do you kind of teeter that line when you're using these tools?
This is such a cool question. Thank you for asking. In the context of AI, I could see hesitation for people on two fronts. One is as you are evolving in understanding yourself, your spiritual journey, connection, you're very protective of that space, of that stillness, and maybe some focusing like to make sure my aura is staying clean and not impacting the energy and the vibe. And then the second hesitation might be, do I need to then conform to what the AI gives me, and will I lose my message, or will I get steered in the direction where I wish I didn't? Both of those are rooted in the fears and beliefs that we carry and practice that we employ. So, for example, if your daily practice, spiritual or not, that you are fully aware of anything that transmutes around you is an opinion and a belief, and you are standing very firm in your power of choice. You have a choice of adopting that belief or remain that belief to stay in the ether as an opinion. That rule, that power of choice is with AI. What AI gives you, that's not the fact. That is an opinion at some point coded, generated, and so forth. If that opinion resonates with what you are, what your message is, you will feel it in your gut. This is on point. And in that case, it's not about the AI and what it gives you, but it's rather an answer. It's staying in the flow and allowing the universe to speak to you, if you will, from different mediums. It could be what you're scrolling on your phone and things that you see. It's like, oh, I've been thinking about it. Here's my answer. Or I am running ChatGPT and boom, it generates that idea, that answer. If you stay very centered about you as a being and you commuting, if you will, in that observation mode, it doesn't matter whether it's AI or any other tool, you are protected, for the lack of a better word. And the so that's as far as the belief goes. And for those of you that don't want to overwhelm your sphere with more technology and more things that disrupt your balance, your connection space, that is an invitation. Then, if you have that inner fear, that is an invitation to explore that fear further. It's likely stems from a very common basis we'll have, is that we're not enough. And so if I'm not enough, and here's this huge technology that knows it all, that amplifies your fear. And that might be you create different excuses. Oh, I need to minimize the tech or usage of apps or the computer time so I can preserve space unconditionally. All of that is an invitation to further develop yourself, because I can assure you, we receive clues and we're in the flow, whether you are in technology, on the computer, walking, sitting, meditating. All of that information is through the field. The field is throughout of it.
Oh, so beautiful. This is the esoteric conversation I haven't had yet around AI, and I love digging into it. Getting a little bit more into magic, if you could wave a magic wand and create some sort of tool or solution that isn't out there yet.
As far as the tool goes, I feel we are marching into proliferation of different tools and overwhelm. And all of those tools spit out stuff. It's more stuff. And what I feel is missing, and the industry is trying to solve it by the agents and the swarm technology, different agents talking to each other, which still produces more stuff. Which still produces more overwhelm. So if I were to wish for a solution there, I would say it's a quality assurance where stuff that comes out, there is some sort of tool that filters it through to say, even with the ChatGPT output, instead of me doing 5 times the prompt until I get through it, can those first 4 prompts done by a quality assurance guard that is filtering it, and it's not on point, redo, not on point, redo. That's kind of where I feel usefulness of it, and I'm sure we will get to it at some point. We have apps that purge our emails, right? Clean up our inbox and stuff. It's all about taking what is not necessary, what does not serve us, and bringing what is. And not necessarily that we have to do it. I think it can be automated.
I feel that so much. Sometimes I find myself going in these wormholes of asking ChatGPT to create an ideate brainstorm, and then all of a sudden I have pages and pages to sift through. And it almost makes me feel like I'm back at square one, where it's just too much information for me to even grapple. So that's a really great point that you made. And this might be a good segue to share one final idea that you would want listeners to walk away with. Maybe there's something that you didn't get an opportunity to share yet, or something you'd want to expand on.
I think the general advice that I wanted to share with those that hesitate to use AI is to not fear the change. The change is the only constant that we have in our life. AI is the new thing, as many more yet to come. And so embrace that. Don't fight it. See where it fits, but stay true to who you are, your message. That never can be taken away. Ever, no matter what the tool.
Beautiful, beautiful last point to be made there. I feel so grounded in this conversation and empowered, right? I think sometimes we need to remember who's in control and get more empowered around the effectiveness and use of these tools and solutions. So I can't thank you enough, Natasha. This has been such a fun, unique way to speak about AI, and something that might not be out there quite yet, and something a lot of people have been wanting to dive into. So I appreciate your unique experience and your time, and I learned a lot today about video editing and tools. I finally have more of a clear path towards going into that realm. So you inspired me. So that was great. I want to see where listeners can reach out to you. Where can they find you? Where should they go to if they want to connect?
Oh, I appreciate it. First of all, this was such a blast. And it's funny that you mentioned that you have now a clear path. That's kind of my signature, why I call myself a clarity coach, because that's the outcome of all the conversations that I engage on a daily basis. So people can find me on natashaclower.com, or it's Natasha Clower YouTube, or on X, or on LinkedIn. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. But those three, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube, is where I post daily, just the reminders of consciousness, reminders of us being more centered, grounded, with no compromise, just being on the go and being us, being the being.
Being the being. Thank you, Natasha. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. This was fun.
Wow. I hope today's episode opened your mind to what's possible with AI. Do you have a cool use case on how you're using AI and want to share it? DM me. I'd love to hear more and feature you on my next podcast. Until next time, here's to working smarter, not harder. See you on the next episode of How I AI. This episode was made possible in partnership with the Collective AI, a community designed to help entrepreneurs, creators, and professionals seamlessly integrate AI into their workflows. One of the biggest game changers in my own AI journey was joining this space. It's where I learned, connected, and truly enhanced my understanding of what's possible with AI. And the best part, they offer multiple membership levels to meet you where you are. Whether you want to DIY your AI learning or work with a personalized AI consultant for your business, the collective has you covered. Learn more and sign up using my exclusive link in the show notes.